Hello everyone, welcome for this new episode of Timeout from Tamriel. Today we are going to swim deep in the water because that's what you choose. And I think this discussion might be very interesting because we already disagree about it. But first of all, to start with, do we think if this feature is important to implement in the Elder Scrolls Online right now? And we will start with Deltia.
Oh, you're gonna start with me?
Yeah, Timeout.
Oh my god.
Is it important?
It is ridiculously unimportant. I mean, come on. Think about it. Imperial City is probably gonna come out in August or some rut around that time. That's legitimately the first update with content, and it'll be 11 months, 12 months, something like that. Like, I love the game, I love the community, but at the same time, you have to have something to do in game. It's an MMO. It should evolve. This isn't Skyrim where people make mods and make the game more enjoyable and different. I get it. New quests and stuff. I think this is one of those things that people go, I want this in my game, and they will never play it. It's like, can we fix the group leader bug? Hello? Hello? Can we fix the group leader bug? Like, basic stuff we need in the game. Can we expand on inventory? Can we get more dungeons? Can the basic stuff that needs to be done to add to this game? What in the F are you doing with underwater combat? That's the way I feel.
So no important. Sigtrick, what's your opinion?
I don't find it important at all, really. I'm not opposed to it if it were to happen, but there's so many things that need to be added to the game beforehand. Like Delty was saying, more content. I want to see the Dark Brotherhood. I want to see continuation of the justice system. I want to see more added to PvP.
Yeah, anything.
Underwater exploration doesn't really have any precedence in the TES titles. And again, I'm not opposed to it, but there's just a whole lot in front of it that I feel should have more priority.
Okay, well, on that point, I totally agree with you guys.
Whoa.
I agree with you guys. I think that underwater content, it's maybe a great idea, but seeing the discussion that we had on the ESO Live, it shows how much time, development and energy this will take. It's not something you will do fastly, and there is more important stuff to implement in the game before, like bug solving, but also other content like dungeon and things that you can do that are more important than just underwater content. It's too big, it's too costly.
Yeah. What do you get? And that's so further from Elder Scrolls. Like, this isn't World of Warcraft. This isn't freaking Waterworld. If you want to keep it in Elder Scrolls, I get it. It's not perfect lore. It's not perfect in that. Underwater combat? I wouldn't even think about that for 10 years. Like, after Sig said, Dark Brotherhood, Thieves Guild? I mean, that should be, boom, priority number one. To people love that. I mean, look how well the Ledgerman stuff goes over. Underwater combat, it's just unfathomable to me that that's even talked about. I mean, like, and people go, I want this in the game. I'm curious to go, okay, let's look at the metrics, because metrics tell a different story than the loud minority on the forums, which is exactly what they look at and always get their things from. Probably not always, but what do people actually do in game? You know, and if you added some solo leveling thing with water, would people actually use it? Otherwise, you're just completely hosing over another part of the game that needs fixed, another part of the game that needs added, like PvP. It's a huge, awesome environment. It could be the best PvP in planet Earth. Add some arenas, add some dueling, and for those people that say, oh, it's going to take away from Cyrodiil, Guild Wars 2 has both. Warhammer had both. So don't give me that lecture about that. Add on the things that you already have and make them better.
Now let's imagine that it's the best world and that we can have the underwater content right now, immediately. What do we think about it? And I will start with Sigtrick.
I probably wouldn't play it all that very much. It doesn't in this particular setting, it just does not seem to be a good fit for me. I don't see any reason why my characters would want to go underwater and fight anything, or underwater at all, for that matter. Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be a cool feature, but I've seen a couple games try and do it in the past, and they've done horribly with it. So,
Which game?
just like Dark Age of Camelot for one. They did the whole water thing, and it was terrible. And it made a lot of players move on because it was required. But yeah, I mean, if it was something that they had built into the game from the get-go, that'd be one thing. But where we're at right now, I would just much rather have the development time spent elsewhere at this point.
Okay, I will take my turn now. I personally, in an ideal world, would like to see the underwater content. I love it in every MMO I've played by the past. World of Warcraft, Guild Wars 2 has done it very, very well. Wildstar have it. Actually, every time I'm playing MMO and there's no underwater content, I'm a little bit surprised. Why is it not in the game? I know it's take a lot of energy and a lot of development because it requires so many development. It's very special. There's so much technology in it, but I find it wonderful. In the Elder Scrolls Online, however, I would like to have it in a certain way, but not like in World of Warcraft. When I see the water in ESO, I'm frustrated to not be able to swim in it. I mean, to dive in it. That doesn't mean I want to have a combat, because a combat will be not as immersive unless we do it properly with I don't know, special weapon. You cannot go with your two-handed axe and your heavy armor in the water, because that's not immersive. You will sink. But it's something I like, because in real life I enjoy to swim. I enjoy to go underwater. I enjoy the submarine environment. And when I'm playing MMO, I would like to have this exploration part. And I think if it's well implemented, if the game have a lot of resource, it could be amazing from an immersion and exploration point of view. But I understand that it's too costly to develop it just for the sake of exploration. So, Deltia, your turn.
Well, I mean, it seems like there's two people running this game. It seems like there's the people that want this so immersive and so RP and so realistic that it almost trumps the old school MMO and like, get stuff done, add to the game. Like, you want to make it so realistic, but at the same time, you have to sacrifice some of that stuff for more content the way it is. And yes, looking in the water and swimming would be more realistic, but the effort required to do that, and like, you have to think of it as a business. And it seems like they're vying. What I'm trying to say is they're making a game that sometimes I question if it's the direction I want to play. I mean, it's like, you have Cyrodiil, you haven't done anything with it, and you're talking about underworld. Like, your priorities are just somewhere that maybe you just don't even on my planet. It's just frustrating. I love this game. The combat and character development are the best in any game I've ever played. I love it. But I mean, at some point, it's like, if you guys keep doing these priorities, it's time to move on. And
yeah,
that's insane to me.
But something I would like to ask you, Deltia, if you could implement it right now like this, would you like it? Because I
wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't touch it.
Yeah, there's some person that hates underwater content because of the 3D version. It's question of gameplay and of feeling. So I'm not even speaking about resource and time the developers will take.
Oh, I wouldn't play it. Why?
You don't like that.
Why would I play it? Like, if I want to go underwater, I'll go to a swimming pool and dunk my head and go, okay, I'm not a fish. Okay, I'm back to normal. I mean, there's zero interest factor for me. I mean, in Mass Effect, they did kind of like a space thing, and that was kind of interesting and cool, but I mean, this is a medieval thing. I don't remember like Merlin swimming around in the ocean like trying to fight jellyfish. It's just I have no interest in doing that. And even from an Elder Scrolls purist standpoint, has that been a big part of this game?
Yeah,
No.
I was.
Swimming has been a part of this game.
I don't
Underwater
know.
combat. Oh yeah, you killed a mud
No,
crab
no,
underwater.
no underwater combat, but I remembered I was taking off all my clothes to go in the water every morning. When it was the morning, I was washing at the river when I was playing Morrowind, and I was taking my baths and, was doing that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, that's your part of the game, but what I remember of Morrowind is I get to play my game, and 1 hour I get to go wherever else I want. No other game had that. 1 hour intro, here's the world. That's Elder Scrolls to me, where you meet unique, interesting characters. Elder Scrolls to me is the freedom to do what you want, explore. And whether that's the water, I just, maybe I'm countering my own point here, but I just dumbfounded by it. I just can't believe it.
So just exploring an underwater cave doesn't interest you?
Exploring caves don't interest me, period. What interests me is improving my character's performance.
Okay.
Because it's a multiplayer game. I want to dominate other players. That's it. I want to be so ridiculously good that I can finally solo Dragonstar Arena. Because it's a multiplayer game. And I enjoy doing those sorts of things, increasing my character's power and performance, and helping other people do it. That's the #1 reason I play MMOs. Okay. Increasing my performance, helping other people. If you tie some reward to underwater, I'll do it. I won't like it, but I'll do it.
Sigtrick, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I just, looking back to the previous TESO Live where they were talking about this, I think one thing that everybody needs to understand is that this is not on their priority list. They were talking completely hypothetically, based on requests that they had gotten on the forums. And I mean, I think I trust Zoss enough that, just going from that talk and the way they explained what would have to happen to make this come to fruition, it's not going to happen. They are not going to spend any amount of time on developing this. I mean, you can take just the pathing aspect of it alone. Right now, the way that the world in the game is built, it's a two-dimensional mesh across the landscape, which dictates where players and where NPCs can move. They would have to completely they would have to recreate that, except in the 3-dimensional, and put it inside of all the bodies of water. So they'd have to go do a complete pass on the entire map just to put navigation into it. And, this is not talking any art resources. It's not talking any animation resources, quest writers, voice actors, any of that stuff. It's just movement in the water would be a huge undertaking, and I don't think they're going to spend any time doing it.
Yeah.
So as you folks are watching this ESO Live, if you're going back to watch it or listening to this discussion now, it was a completely hypothetical situation they were talking about, and I don't think it'll ever come to be.
I agree with you on that point. For me, I saw this show more like, hey guys, this is why we are not doing it. This is the justification. We know that you want it, but it's really not possible to make it unless we are a billionaire tomorrow. That's how I talk this show, to prove to the players point by point that it's way too costly, take too much effort, it will require a team of 20 people to just work on it, and it's just not worth it. And I agree with that.
Yeah, and I appreciate their honesty in ESO Live. I mean, they don't have to do that sort of stuff, but at the same point, it's like, can you give us a little glimpse at the future? Yes, we know Imperial City is coming. We know it just feels like the whole console thing has shot this PC game in the foot for a year. And
yeah, probably.
I hate to be the guy that says that, and I'm sure there's other people that said it too. I'm not the original, but it's like, PC, you're done for 1 year until we get consoles out. And it pisses me off, frankly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not something that any of us can do about it, and I'm sure that it's even not something that Zenimax is pleased about. We just have to endure it or move on and go to other games. And I don't want to go to other games because I really like ESO and I want to
I
stick
think
with it.
I think after console releases, we'll get back on a little more regular of a release schedule and
Yeah,
start
once a year.
some bigger, bigger patches and whatnot come through.
And I'm the
But
biggest fanboy, but at the same time, at some point you got to grow and evolve. I think the console stuff will be an absolute juggernaut. I really think it probably will be worth the wait. But at the same time, it feels like I'm the little PC player now. I never felt that before. Where like I'm the person they don't really want to deal with.
Don't complain, Delcia. You have a PlayStation. You will be a console player as well. I don't. I don't have one.
Well, I only bought it to play with other people that enjoy the consoles, and I don't know. It's just frustrating. I've been frustrated at the game for a while, but I want something new. Dark Brotherhood and Thieves Guild. Come on, Imperial City. I mean, I'm saving all my AP now to play that. That's all I can think about. Getting my character ready for that. It's just. And the Cyrodiil, the 3-faction thing, I always hated it at first, but it's just cool. It's just so unique to an MMO in modern times to have kind of like your whole world is tied to this. Your PvE buffs, your PvP buffs. It's all you can be Emperor in this game. The one thing I haven't done. It's just so cool. Just expand on that, please, Os. And this will be the best game of all time. Ever. Better than Tetris.
I think they'll get this.
When is Aloha gonna be Emperor? That's the real question, right?
No, I will not. I will not bother to do that. I will do it once I can swim and explore every cave of
my
Tamriel.
god. Now you're
I will do it once we have the special islands in the south with the Maomer.
Can we go Akaviri? Is that coming next week? Can we go to Akaviri, like even off Tamriel?
That's gonna be cool.
See, hey, I know my lore. I got that lore. All right. Anyways,
next week. So the next week, more serious subjects. Riding skill in the cash shop. Is it cool? Is it not cool? Or the veteran rank, removal, not removal? Choose wisely.
Couple things on that. The writing thing. Someone, I think Demonoid data mined it. I heard on TESO Nation about them adding that in, that they could possibly improve your horse's performance. I'd love to talk about that. Also, what I'd love to talk about is, do they remove veteran ranks? They've said they're going to do it for how long, but allegedly there was some video on the PlayStation that hinted at maybe not. Awesome
topics. Yes. See you next week, guys. Take care.
Bye. Don't hate me in the comments.
And excuse Sick Trick. He is actually making this interview on his phone, showing how much dedicated he is. So that's why the sound is not so good this time.
In a box. I mean, Sig has no home right now, and he's in a box on a phone. That's the dedication.
Yeah.
Timeout from Tamriel.
Pretty much.